Everybody is affected by price rise. When the price of something that we consume goes up, we have to make adjustments. Some adjustments are easy. I can't afford a holiday? No problem. But some decisions are very difficult. What about this decision? My child cannot have a meal because I can't afford it. Price rise affects the poor and it hits them the hardest because they're already spending their money on what is essential. So they cannot look for anything cheaper because they're already buying something that is cheaper, and they cannot look for substitute. So we all agree that the price of essential goods and services has gone up. Okay, so how much do you think it has gone up in the past 15 years? 10%? 20%? 100%? No, 300%. So 15 years ago, a man would spend 1,000 rupees, but for the same goods and commodities, now he has to spend 4,000 rupees. Let us understand why prices go up or down. Prices remain at a level when buyers are willing to buy and sellers are willing to sell. When the supply goes up, prices goes down. But if the supply remains constant and the demand goes up, then the same prices would go up. When does demand go up? Demand goes up when there is an increase in income or when there is more money in the country. For instance, the government prints more money. Demand could also go up when there is a sudden change in preferences. People start buying more scooters instead of motorcycles. When does supply stagnate? Supply stagnates when production capacity is restricted. This could be because of the permissions required to increase production capacity take too much time and they're too complicated to obtain. Production capacity could also be utilized for producing goods which nobody wants. For example, now with an increased income at their disposal, people could be wanting milk and eggs, whereas our country could be using land to grow rice and wheat. In cities, the prices of homes and rents have increased significantly, and this is because we have not been able to create enough number of homes for people wishing to move out of villages to the cities, and also for the people wishing to move out of their current homes into better houses. So why have we not been able to create enough number of homes? This is because of the complications of the permissions required, or the builder cartels maintaining a low supply so that they can claim higher prices, and the high cost of input like steel and cement. Hence the ask how questions. How will more land be made available? And how will artificial shortages created by builders be dealt with? Another example, the cost of quality school education has gone up sharply. Why? Because people prefer to enroll their kids in private schools rather than lower quality government schools. And as there are more rules restricting the opening of new schools, existing schools end up charging higher fees. Hence the ask how questions. How can the quality of education in government schools be improved? How will starting of new schools be made easier so that students have a greater choice? While we are asking how, we can also see how it has been in other segments of the industry. Computer and phone prices have come down. And why has this happened? Because restriction in production has been lifted. As a result, there is competition amongst producers. So when I want to choose a computer, I can choose from Lenovo, HP, Sony or any other brand that I want. So how will regulations be similarly minimized in other sectors? Now we have to understand one thing. Prices go up if the amount of money in the country increases faster than the amount of goods. Let me explain. In 1988, we produced 10 units of a particular goods, and at that time, the amount of money in circulation was about 1,000 rupees. In 2013, we had produced 28 units of the same goods, but the amount of money in circulation was 10,700 rupees. No wonder prices go up. So, why is there an oversupply of money? The main reason is the government borrowing from the RBI. So you don't understand. Let me explain. When the government's expense is more than the amount of money it collects as revenue from taxes, then it has to borrow from someone, and that someone is the Reserve Bank of India. Now the gap between the expense and the government's earning is called fiscal deficit. Now this is when the RBI prints more notes, and now there are new notes in circulation. So the question we have to ask is, how do we reduce the fiscal deficit? We have seen that the prices of different goods increase due to different reasons, And hence, we need to ask our Lok Sabha candidates specific questions. Some of the questions we suggest you ask your representatives are: how will government spending be managed to cut fiscal deficit? How will restriction to production be removed to encourage supply? How will government encourage investments in specific areas like schools and food cold chains? How will competition be encouraged so that producers will reduce production costs and sell at optimal prices?